christiangeekcentral.com.
Francisco asks, if you got a Nintendo Switch, would you get Skyrim? Do you ever rebuy games? Well, I rebought this one. I have it on 360, put in 320 hours, and then bought it on PS4. I don't know if I'm going to get a Nintendo Switch. You know, we can move on to that one now, actually. On the +2 page of many topics, my thoughts on a Nintendo Switch, and why I buy handheld games. The Switch looks cool, and it looks like something that I would be into under certain circumstances. I'd either have to be on the go more than I am, and I'm just not. That's not been my lifestyle, really, ever. And so then it would come down to what games are on there. You know, when I've purchased a Game Boy, the original Game Boy, when I was in high school, when I bought my Nintendo DS, when I bought my PlayStation Vita, it was not really about playing games on the go. It was about playing games that were only available on those handheld consoles. They just had some exclusive games of the type I like to play, like a lot of the Dragon Quest games were either being remade or the series was moving forward only on the Nintendo DS. And the Symphony of the Night Castlevania series was only available on Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS. So I had to go there. And likewise, there was a bunch of JRPGs and tactical type games and stuff that were only available on the Vita. Console exclusivity is more and more rare, and I just don't know that they would have the exclusives to get me to buy a Nintendo Switch. Here's what would get me to buy a Nintendo Switch. I mean, to answer your question first, Francisco, I probably wouldn't get Skyrim because I already have it, and I'm not on the go enough for the idea of Skyrim on the go to be a novelty. I do think it's a really cool idea, and I love the idea of playing Skyrim on an airplane, you know, or when we make trips to go see Holly's family, either on the plane or while we're out there, to be able to play that on the go would be awesome. I love the idea. I don't think I love it enough that I would buy it again just for those instances, because we only go out there once or twice a year, you know. And I have other games that are exclusive that I can only play on my handheld devices that I could already use, you know, that flight time to play. But what would get me to strongly consider getting an NX is if all of the, like, every, or at least all the ones that I care about, past Nintendo game from every Nintendo system was available to purchase on their digital store. You know, so like all these Castlevania games that I'm really enjoying, that I can only play on Nintendo DS or Game Boy Advance, if those were available through Nintendo's digital store, and you had to have a Switch to play them, I would totally consider that, because I much prefer to play video games on a home console on a TV screen. So it's really going to just depend on the games. It's always about the games for me. And so, you know, right now, I think it's really cool what they've announced and what they've said, but it doesn't really mean a lot to me. I'm not going to even really consider getting a Switch until I have not only a list of third parties that are working with them, because they gave us a list of third parties for the Wii U, and we saw how that panned out, a list of games and release dates. That's when I'll have an idea of whether or not this system is for me or for my boys. We're more likely, I would say at this point, to buy a Switch at some point for our boys, but I don't even think we need to get it for them. I mean, we just had a big kind of family celebration in our home because our youngest was able to stay clean and dry for a certain number of days, and we've been working on that with him for a while, and his reward was to get a Kindle, like a kid's version of an Amazon Kindle. So he can, because he loves playing with our phones and the little kind of games that you can play on there, and so we set aside money for that. And so that our oldest wouldn't feel, you know, left out, because that's a pretty big deal. We saved up so that we could get them both Kindles at the same time. So they have these portable gaming options now. I just don't think we're not going to need a Switch for a while, even if it's got great games on it. It was no small thing for us to, you know, buy them Kindles, you know. That would be for maybe other people, but not for us. And so I can't see us diving into getting a Switch unless there were some really concrete, promising games that were going to be worth it for the boys. I'm thinking of adding an annual stream to my rotation. Oh! He's looking right at me! He's looking right at me. Why didn't he get up and say something? Hey. Oh, crap. He's just looking at me with hate in his eyes. Someone there? Yes! Oh my gosh, I'm here! Oh my gosh. Oh, was that fun for you guys too? I am thinking of adding a new annual stream to my cycle of streams. You know, I mentioned that I do the Extra Life one, I do this Getting All the Game-a-thon thing, which I just record, I don't stream live, and then I stitch it together later. That's where the Should Christians Rage Quit video came from. And I'm thinking of adding in February a stream that's, you know, a short stream, you know, maybe just 6 hours long like the retro stream was, where I only play games that are really frustrating me. Like, I'm at a point that's too difficult, and normally I would say, okay, I'm done, I'm not going to play this game ever again because it's too hard on my fragile ego to fail and die again and again and again. And so I'm thinking of doing an event, because this is the only reason I would personally do it, is if I was making content that would be interesting to other people, and I would think that something like this might be, of watching me just kind of like force myself to get through, you know, and I also saw it as like, okay, this would be, you know, a little bit of an opportunity for character growth on my part, to just force myself to push through the difficult part of a game, and that's really punishing for me, and just practice in like a really infantile way, you know, not attaching my self-worth and my identity to my performance, and just pushing through that, you know. I've got a handful of games right now that I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm not playing that. I don't need to play that ever again, you know. But I haven't gotten rid of them because they're digital, or I just haven't gotten around to selling them or anything yet. But I know that I would enjoy them again if I could get past the hump that I'm currently on with them, that I've just kind of has caused me to put them away. Francisco says, really like that idea, Pater. After Mad Max, Battletoads. Oh man. No, I think that thematically Battletoads wouldn't work, because I don't really have a love for that game. I don't have a longing to return to it. This would be games that, like, I really enjoy. I just have mixed feelings about. And there's things about it that I love that would make me want to really play, make it almost worth pushing through, you know. And Battletoads wouldn't do it for me. The only game that I would put on this list that I wouldn't normally want to play, but I would want to just beat just because I want to beat it because it's hard and I've never been able to beat it before, is the original Super Mario Brothers, because both of my sisters were able to beat that game and I could never beat it. And it's just kind of like always been this, and it's a game that so many people, almost everybody my age that has played video games has beaten that game, you know. It's just kind of like that basic first game that, you know, everybody finished under their own steam. And I never have. Francisco, you haven't beaten Super Mario Brothers either. Wow. Well, you're in good company, sir. Well, I'm in good company. How do I say that? If I say you're in good company, that means, oh, I'm pretty great. I'm a good person to be around. You're in company. You're in similarly situated company.